Hello everyone! We are going through the Bible to find the importance of Christmas. Today's block is a picture of a sword. The very first king God gave his people was a man named Saul. Saul was an obvious choice to be king. He was strong and tall and brave. And God used a prophet named Samuel to guide Saul. Through Samuel, God would tell Saul what to do, and Saul would do it. So when Samuel said, "Protect God's people from the Moabites," Saul did it. And when Samuel said, "Protect God's people from the Edomites," Saul did it. And when Samuel said, "Protect God's people from the Ammonites," guess what? Saul did it. Now remember, Saul might have been strong and tall and brave, but he didn't win battles because of that. He won battles because he listened to God. He won the battles because God was with him. God was with Saul even when it was hard, and even when God's people were being attacked. Even when the armies around Saul were stronger, God was still with them. But Saul got to thinking that he was winning all of these battles because he was strong, and Saul stopped listening to God. So one day, the prophet Samuel told Saul, "Protect God's people from the Amalekites," and Saul did it. But when Saul did it, he did it his way and not God's way. He kept a lot of animals for himself, which God specifically told him not to do. And even worse, after the battle, he built a big statue of himself, saying that he had won this battle because of what he did and not because of God. And that made God sad. So he sent Samuel to tell Saul that God would no longer be with him. He wouldn't help him with battles, and he wouldn't help him rule the people, since Saul didn't listen to God anyway. So Saul remained king for a little while, but everything Samuel said became true. God left Saul, and everyone could tell. And Saul found out that nothing was worse than losing God. So the picture of the sword reminds us that Saul was very successful, but he was successful because he did what God was telling him, and because God was helping him, and Saul was listening to God. But when Saul stopped listening and obeying God, he stopped helping Saul, and he was no longer a great man. So tomorrow we are going to talk about who became king after Saul. See you tomorrow.